Hi, good evening. My name's Jason Debly, and tonight's review is not a whiskey, but it is a spirit from France called Douce. Here we have it right here, and it's adorned with the Cross of Lorraine, which is a French symbol of courage, honor, and perseverance. And that's what we're going to use tonight to try this bottle. This brand is new. It's owned by, well, I shouldn't say new, but in terms of historical terms for cognac brands that go back over 100 years, this is a baby. It was launched, I believe, in about 2012 and endorsed by Jay-Z, the rapper turned entrepreneur and spouse of Beyonce. He actually put some of this very type of cognac, this brand, in his trophy at the Grammy Awards. In any case, because Jay-Z endorsed this and is a part investor in it, a small investor, the big investors Bacardi's, it generated a lot of interest, a lot of reviews, and a lot of sales. That was back in 2012, 2013. Here we are in 2022, still talking about it. Jay-Z, I don't think, really promotes it anymore, even though he has a part interest. He doesn't need to. I think the man's close to being a billionaire. Good for him if he isn't already. So I wanted to try this because it turned up at my liquor store and it was something new. And my availability or accessibility to cognac is quite limited in Canada, unfortunately. So when I saw this pop up for a fairly reasonable price point, it's a very superior old pale, VSOP, which means the ingredient eau de vie making up this cognac are a minimum of 4 years old, but certainly can be older. And we'll find out in our little taste review if it tastes a bit older or tastes very young and harsh. Give ourselves a healthy pour. Real cork stopper, which is kind of nice. The bottle's pretty good, 750 milliliter, 40% alcohol by volume. And as another reviewer's pointed out, you know, cognac producers are not afraid to use artificial color to darken it to imply greater age or wood aging. And this cognac looks pretty dark for a VSOP. Nevertheless, I always like to taste it, but first we'll start with a little nosing. The nose is candied, kind of sweet. Definitely floral, maybe strawberry, raspberry. A hint of leather and mint. It's a nice nose. And again, not a super expensive cognac, so that's impressive. Now hopefully what's on the nose will translate onto the palate. It's rich, it's sweet initially, luscious. Red licorice comes to mind, caramel, a little bit of anise, red wine notes, kind of like a Merlot or Pinot Noir are in there. On the finish, it becomes drying, so there's a nice transition from sweet to dry. A little bit of heat and spice on the finish, which is not offensive, very well balanced. I taste on the finish kind of like dark wood or leather, or it's good. This is really, really good. I like it. Very approachable. If somebody's new to cognac and they're like, what's the big deal? I don't get it. On a cold, dark and stormy night, you know, snow falling, rain pelting against your window, and it's windy, and you've just gone for a long walk and you've returned, this bad boy is going to warm you up very pleasantly. Alternatively, after a holiday meal, you know, you can retire and sit down with a good book or friends and have a couple of these. I am really impressed with this. Some of the reviews online were a bit negative, saying it's overly sweet. And you know, it's sweet, but it dries by the finish, which is the mark of good work by the cognac producer. And for the price point, you're getting excellent value for money. It is not as minty and maybe a little hotter than some other brands. This is comparable to Hennessy. Might not be as polished as Hennessy, but a bit cheaper in price. I like it. I think between this and Hennessy VSOP, I think they're both good. I guess Hennessy edges it out, but this does not in any way disappoint. Between Doucet and, say, Courvoisier VSOP, I would say Doucet is smoother, more approachable, more balanced. And I like Courvoisier VSOP, or Very Superior Old Pale. So I highly recommend this. For the price point, it's delightful, it's pleasant, it's easygoing. Not to mention, it would be a great ingredient in a mixed drink. I can just imagine. Some people might like this on ice. I personally think ice would be a waste. Thank you very much for tuning in. And I think next week I have a fellow coming over going to teach me. I got a new iMac computer, and he's going to show me how to do some video editing. So maybe this will be the last video where I turn it on and then walk around here and sit down and start my video and end it by walking back around the table and turning it off. Have a good weekend.